In this video, we're going to be focusing on memorizing a particular Bible verse from multiple translations of the Bible. And one reason we might decide to do this is if we're studying a particular passage and we want to really try and understand it, but maybe we don't know the Greek or Hebrew behind it. And so we want to study multiple translations. And in that process, maybe we want to memorize one verse in multiple translations. So how do we go about that using RemNote? Well, you can see here I've relabeled our document Memorizing Galatians ESV. So this is the ESV translation. I'm actually going to go across to Galatians chapter 1 verse 1 and I'm going to tag it again, 2 hashtags, and then I'm going to type in Galatians, actually maybe I'll just type in Galatians GAL 1 1. I'm going to create that rem, so it's a new rem. Now I've actually gone and created 2 new folders, one for Bible memory in the NIV and added in the same verse. I'm going to tag this one as well with Galatians 1:1. And I've gone ahead and done the same for the New King James Version of the Bible as well. So we're going to be comparing these 3 verses. And basically what I've done is I've gone through and tagged verse 1 in each of the 3 translations with the tag Galatians 1:1. Now, because I've tagged it and it was a non-existing rem, it becomes a top level rem, and I'm going to make these unsorted. And basically we can see the different verses. So verse 1 from the ESV version, verse 1 from the NIV, verse 1 from the New King James. They're all Galatians 1:1. So at this point we might like to study the differences between them. So they all say Paul and Apostle, but what comes next varies. So the NIV and ESV have a hyphen, whereas the New King James have a set of brackets. It's a grammatical difference, but then we go further. The ESV says not from men nor through man. NIV says sent not from men nor by a man. And the New King James Version says not from men nor through man. So there are some differences between these translations, even in about 7 or 8 words. If we wanted to study those differences, the first thing we could do is make each of these into a flashcard. So to do that, we simply type in the double colon, and we want to do the same down here as well. Okay, so we now have our flashcards, but maybe we are trying to study these verses, and so we actually want to understand what is the difference between those 2 verses. Well, as we study them, we might highlight some of the differences. So for example, we go in here, sent, and we might decide, okay, I want to highlight that as yellow. That is a difference, something that is unique. So I forgot the T. Something that is unique to the NIV. Then we might go through further. Is there any differences? Okay, NIV has but by Jesus Christ instead of through. So that is different to the other 2 translations. Again, we're just going to highlight this. And God the Father who raised him from the dead. And the New King James has him with a capital H. So that is different to the other 2 translations. Okay, so what I've gone through then and done is highlighted all the differences. So that's my study, but then if I want to commit this to memory, I'm going to create a new flashcard. What is different about the NIV version? Maybe let's just call it NIV, seeing as V stands for version. What is different about the NIV? And we are going to make a list. There are 2 parts. It has sent, addition of the word sent. And it also has by instead of through. Okay, so now we can go and create another flashcard. What is different about the New King James? When I say different, maybe we could say unique, seeing as we are comparing 3 translations. It is also worth emphasizing that there's no reason you have to use these particular 3 translations. You could choose more than 3 if you wanted to as well. But there's only one unique thing about the New King James, and that is a capital H for him at the end of the verse. Okay, so now what we've done is we have our original 3 flashcards, or 6, or 5 or 6, when we consider some of them are 2 directional. We have our original flashcards plus 2 more that we've put in, and we can now go up to these 3 dots, practice our rem, practice all cards. What is unique about the New King James Version? There's one dot point. What was it? Capital H for him near the end of the verse. Okay, but we just made it, so maybe we've decided it's too soon. It's still too fresh in our minds to properly remember it. What is unique about the NIV? Okay, there were 2 things. We had the word but instead of the word through, and there was another difference as well. What was the first difference? We can't remember, so we look it up. Addition of the word sent. All right, so we recalled partly. We partly recalled it, so we're going to click that. And then we've got our standard reviews. What is Galatians 1:1 in the New King James Version? And we could try and recite that and keep going. And you can see it even includes the highlight of what is different or unique to the New King James Version. All right, so I hope you found that useful as a method to review and memorize the same verse in multiple translations.